About the last time you felt truly alive. Not happy, not comfortable, alive. It probably happened when you were learning something new, when you were confused but excited, when your brain was being challenged. Most people lose this feeling after childhood. They think they already know enough. They stop asking questions. They stop exploring. And that is when they stop growing. You might feel stuck right now, like you have hit a wall, like nothing is changing. But the real problem is not your circumstances. The real problem is that you stop being curious. You close the door to possibilities. Today, we're going to talk about something that will change everything. Staying curious is not just nice. It is the foundation of all success. Here is a truth that most people never realize. Curiosity is not something you are born with only. It is something you choose every single day. When you wake up, you have a choice. You can see the world as already figured out, or you can see it as full of mysteries. Miyamoto Musashi was one of the greatest warriors ever. He did not become great by mastering one technique. He became great by staying curious about everything. He studied music. He studied calligraphy. He studied nature. Why would a warrior do this? Because he understood something vital. Every single thing teaches you something about how to live. Every experience adds a piece to the puzzle. You probably think success comes from knowing more. But here's the real secret. Success comes from wanting to know more. Think about this. The moment you think you know everything, you stop improving. The moment you stop asking questions, you stop evolving. Your biggest competitor is not someone else. It is your past self who thinks he has all the answers. Most people hit a certain level of success and they relax. They think they can coast now. They think the hard part is over. This is the exact moment when their decline begins. You might not see it at first, but slowly they become irrelevant. Their skills fade. Their thinking gets old. Their confidence turns into arrogance. And they wonder why the world passed them by. The reason is simple. They stopped being curious. They stopped asking, what am I missing? They stopped looking for better ways. The people who keep winning, they never stop asking questions. They look at their own work and think, how can this be better? They look at other people and think, what can you teach me? They look at their failures and think, what truth is hidden here? This is the mindset that separates the people who grow from the people who plateau. You probably feel like you have learned enough. You have your job. You have your skills. You have your way of doing things. But think about this. The world is changing faster than ever. What worked last year might not work this year. The skills you have now might be useless in 5 years. The only way to stay ahead is to keep learning. The only way to keep learning is to stay curious. Curiosity is like a muscle. When you use it, it gets stronger. When you ignore it, it shrinks. Right now, you might feel like your curiosity is dead. You might feel like you have lost the ability to wonder. But that is not true. It is just dormant. It is waiting for you to wake it up. Think about a child for a moment. A child asks questions about everything. Why is the sky blue? What makes plants grow? How do machines work? Adults always tell them to stop asking, to stop bothering people with questions, to just accept things the way they are. And slowly, the child stops asking. The curiosity does not die. It just goes to sleep. The good news is you can wake it up anytime. You can choose to start asking questions again. You can choose to see the world like a child sees it, full of mystery, full of possibility, full of things to discover. Musashi knew this. He trained his mind like he trained his body. He never let it get lazy. He never let it accept easy answers. He always dug deeper. He always asked, what else is there to know? Here is something that will change how you see your failures. Every failure is a lesson disguised as bad luck. But you only get the lesson if you stay curious about it. When something goes wrong, most people do one of two things. They either blame someone else and move on, or they blame themselves and feel bad about it. Neither of these approaches teaches you anything. But if you stay curious, everything changes. You start asking questions. Why did this happen? What did you miss? What could you do differently next time? What did this teach you about how the world works? Suddenly, the failure is not just pain. It is information. And information is the most valuable thing you can have. Think about someone you know who keeps making the same mistakes. They fail. They feel bad. Then they repeat the pattern. It never changes. Why? Because they did not stay curious. They did not ask themselves the hard questions. They just blamed circumstances and moved on. Now, think about someone who keeps getting better. They fail. They get curious about why. They extract the lesson. Then they apply it. And the next time, they do better. This is the difference between a life of growth and a life of stagnation. The world rewards curiosity in ways you cannot even imagine right now. When you stay curious, you start to see connections others miss. You start to have ideas others do not have. You start to solve problems others cannot solve. This is where real value comes from. This is why some people earn more. This is why some people get more opportunities. This is why some people seem to have all the luck. They do not have luck. They have curiosity. They're constantly learning. They're constantly looking for patterns. They're constantly connecting dots that other people do not see. Imagine you are in a room with 10 other people. Everyone is doing the same job. Everyone has the same pay, but you decide to stay curious. You ask yourself, how can we do this better? You ask your customers, what is your real problem? You ask the market, what is missing? 6 months later, you see what others missed. You have an idea. It is small at first, but it leads somewhere. That is how people move up. That is how people find their breakthrough. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is curiosity. Musashi wrote about observing things deeply, not just looking at them, but truly seeing them. This is the practice of staying curious. It is paying attention. It is asking questions. It is refusing to accept the surface-level explanation. Staying curious necessitates courage and the willingness to acknowledge one's ignorance. It involves being wrong and sometimes appearing foolish, contrasting with the tendency to pretend to know everything, which ultimately hampers growth. Genuine development occurs when individuals openly admit their lack of understanding and seek assistance or clarification. The most intelligent people cultivate curiosity not due to their initial knowledge, but because they embrace their limitations. Fear of looking foolish can prevent questions from being asked, but recognizing that everyone has confusion and is continuously learning fosters personal growth. Those who are honest about their uncertainties progress, whereas those who conceal them remain stagnant. Think about the areas of your life where you feel most capable, most confident, most successful. Do you remember how you got there? You probably did not start out knowing what you know now. You started out curious. You asked questions. You made mistakes. You learned. You adjusted. You kept going. That is how mastery works. That is how you become good at anything. The problem is that once you reach a certain level, you stop doing this. You think, I know enough now. And you plateau. But the people who keep improving, they never stop. They reach a level, and then they get curious about the next level. They look at people better than them and think, how do they do that? They study. They practice. They ask questions. They stay humble. This is what Musashi meant when he talked about constant refinement. It was not just about sword technique. It was about a whole way of being, a way of always looking for improvement, a way of never being satisfied with where you are, a way of being grateful for what you know while remaining hungry to know more. Here is something practical you can do starting today. Choose one area of your life where you feel stuck, where you feel like nothing is changing, where you feel like you have hit a ceiling. Now, get curious about it, not in a frustrated way, in a genuine, interested way. Ask yourself questions. What is really happening here? What am I not seeing? What assumption am I making that might be wrong? Who could teach me something about this? What I never tried? What would it look like if I approached this completely differently? Just by asking these questions, you are awakening your curiosity. You're sending a signal to your brain that there is more to discover, and your brain will start working. It will start noticing things. It will start making connections. This is not magic. This is how your mind works. Your brain is designed to solve problems, but it only works on the problems you ask it to work on. If you stop asking questions, your brain stops helping you. But if you stay curious, your brain becomes your greatest tool. The final thing you need to understand is this. Curiosity is not about accumulating random knowledge. It is not about knowing facts. It is about understanding how things work. It is about seeing the patterns that connect everything. It is about becoming wiser. And wisdom is what actually leads to success. Not just financial success, not just career success, but real success, the kind where you feel alive, where you feel like you are becoming who you were meant to be, where you feel like you're making progress on things that matter. When you stay curious, you start to see your life differently. Your problems become interesting. Your challenges become puzzles. Your struggles become stories. And all of this moves you forward. You realize that every single experience is teaching you something. Every conversation is a lesson. Every book is a doorway. Every failure is a gift. This is what it means to truly live. This is what Musashi and other great minds understood. They never stopped being students. They never stopped looking. They never closed the book and said, "That is enough." You are encouraged to recognize a truth within yourself, that you become closed off, ceasing to explore and accepting your circumstances instead of envisioning possibilities. However, you possess the power to change this today. Choose to remain curious, acknowledge your lack of answers, and realize that the world still holds countless discoveries. Your most fulfilling days are ahead, not behind. The key to unlocking this potential lies in your courage to maintain curiosity. Instead of searching for definitive answers or a flawless plan, initiate your journey by asking questions, learning, exploring, and nurturing a sense of wonder. True success stems not from having all the knowledge, but from a relentless desire to learn more. Understanding this secret can transform your life, leaving the next steps in your hands.